I always have so much going on and I try to do everything for everyone, and I don't get a lot of just down time because I'm always thinking about where I need to be next, what time I need to be there, how I'm going to get there. And it just is all the time up until the second I go to bed. I'm like, okay, wait, so tomorrow I have this. And then, oh, wait, I need to set a reminder for this. And it is just always
So your brain
on.
tortures you.
Yeah.
What a joy to meet you. Thank you for doing this.
No, thank you for doing this for both of us.
Well, you guys have opposite brains.
That's what you were saying.
So you saw Brock's brain,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really low in activity. Yours is really busy.
Doesn't surprise me.
Let's do this a little bit backwards. And we'll go back and do this. And if we look at the outside surface of your brain, it's pretty healthy. A little bumpy, so we'll talk about why is it a little bumpy. A little bit low here in the front, but overall, you have a stunningly beautiful brain.
Thank you.
But then when we look at how busy it is, it's like, whoa. My first marital couple, so I started scanning people in 1991, and I was so excited about it. And I'm a child psychiatrist, but I'm also an adult psychiatrist. And this family brought in their 2 kids. Little girl got better almost immediately. When I did some things, the boy didn't get better at all. And I'm like, why is he not getting better? So I started seeing him in psychotherapy. And I realized it wasn't getting better because his parents hated each other. They were fighting and screaming and door slamming. And he was always on edge and worried. And it came out in his behavior because children are like violins. They play the stress of their parents. And so I said, let me see you guys, the parents. And they go, Dr. Amen, we really like you. We've seen 4 other marital therapists, and they always make it worse. And in my head, I'm like, well, maybe they just didn't see anybody really good. I never have that thought anymore. Whenever I have that thought, I'm like, go away, go away. Because I saw them for 9 months and nothing I did worked. And I was so frustrated. And I hate being ineffective. I hate it. And after I went to my lecture on brain spect imaging, I'm like, let me scan you guys. Because it's either divorce or scan.
Mm-hmm.
He had a really sleepy brain. She had a really busy brain. I put him on a stimulant, put her on something to calm her brain down. And they're still married.
Amazing.
And they don't fight and they don't see therapists. And I'm like, why wouldn't you scan someone before they did marital therapy? Because you guys have gone.
No, we do individual therapy.
You do so you've never gone together.
No.
So don't go together until I balance your brain.
Okay, sounds good.
So tell me your goal. What's your goal in doing this and being here?
So I think I have really bad OCD, my anxiety. I do feel like I always have so much going on and I try to do everything for everyone, and I don't get a lot of just down time because I'm always thinking about where I need to be next, what time I need to be there, how I'm going to get there. And it just is all the time up until the second I go to bed. I'm like, okay, wait, so tomorrow I have this. And then, oh, wait, I need to set a reminder for this. And it is just always
so your brain
on.
Tortures you.
Yeah.
And this brain you have is actually pretty consistent with an OCD anxiety.
Yeah.
What have you done to calm it down?
A few months ago, I think it was in end of June and July, I got on Zoloft for about 5 weeks. And my husband, someone who is very anti being on prescription medications, I was like, maybe I try something a little more natural. Maybe I try microdosing mushrooms and doing that instead. But for me, with the OCD, it was the intrusive thoughts. Since becoming a mom, my postpartum OCD was really bad, to the point where every day it was like, what's going to happen, where something's going to happen to my child, or something's going to happen to me. And just the constant negative, intrusive thoughts were just getting to the point where I was like, I can't keep doing this every day. I can't be sad every day. I can't be stressed every day of things that aren't even real. They're not happening, but I'm afraid of them happening. So I noticed when I was on the Zoloft, it was so much better. But I felt like I was a little extra sleepy. And then I was upping my caffeine intake. And so I stopped. I just kind of weaned off that. I stopped taking that.
How much Zoloft were you taking?
It was a low dose.
25?
I think it was
50?
25, maybe. Yeah, because I know the Xanax I have is 25. So
the Xanax you have is 0.25.
0.25, yes.
You had 25 milligrams of Xanax.
I would be done.
Not be here.
No, 0.25. I would have to check, but I know it wasn't a super high dose. And I think that maybe it was even just me telling myself that it was making me more tired, because so many people are like, oh, you're on Zoloft, doesn't it make you like a zombie? And I'm like, oh, maybe it does. Maybe I am like a zombie. I just thought
rarely makes my patients a zombie.
Okay.
It's not a zombie drug.
Yeah. I think
but
I go to bed late.
But if you're not worrying as much,
right,
then you're like, it's a change.
Mm-hmm.
And the change makes you uncomfortable because the brain's lazy.
Right.
But, like I was telling Brock, the goal is never medicine or no medicine.
Right.
The goal is always your best functioning.
Totally.
And if you can learn not to catastrophize and to harness those thoughts, well, that would be cool.
Yeah.
With your therapist, do you work on tools or do you go in and chat?
So it's unfortunately virtual, which I hate. I wish it was in person. But we did finally do an in-person session this past weekend, and we did a 3-hour EMDR intensive.
And how was it?
It was incredible. It just, the eye movement, we had the pulsars in my hands, and from where we started to where we finished, I did feel differently about triggers and things that we were able to work through. So I feel like I would want to do that again, starting with a different traumatic experience. This one was really set with bullying in junior high and kind of working through that. I've had other traumatic experiences in my life. Like I had a really traumatic labor and I almost died, which now I have such a fear of becoming a mom again. I don't want to be pregnant again. I don't want to have more kids. I don't want to go through any of this again. It's like having her. She's amazing, but I just can't imagine doing this all again and having another human to worry about as well.
Well, when I do EMDR, I have my patients write down the top 10 traumas.
Okay.
And they end up all sort of being connected.
Yeah.
Right. So it's almost no matter, there's an episode on the show when you're really upset. It's like, okay, let's do EMDR. Let's do the eye movement. Think about it. Get on a train and let's see where your brain takes us.
Yeah.
And then the eye movement or the tapping helps your brain process that trauma and then sees what it's connected to. So almost wherever you start, you end up going. And we did do a
bit of that where my brain went somewhere else. There was one time she was like, okay, and now what? And I was like, honestly, I was just looking at the light that time. My brain was just like, oh, the light. It looks like Pac-Man. It just kind of I was getting tired of just thinking about what this makes me feel like this. And I was like, I'm just going to watch the light for this one. But she was like, okay, well, let's go with that and see where that goes. So it definitely did take me in a lot of different directions, but it started at an experience from when I was 12.
Yeah. But I think doing the pregnancy and the delivery, I think that makes total sense because you want to make the decision based on what you want, not on what you don't want, not on fear, but on what is really your brain's desire.
Yeah.
I would say your heart's desire, but your heart doesn't desire anything. It's your
Right.
brain. So. What was it like growing up for you?
I mean, I had a great childhood. I skipped third grade actually. And then when I got into junior high, I was the youngest one and I was severely bullied in eighth grade mostly, but a little bit in seventh. And I think that is why we were doing all of that work in EMDR recently, because that's something that
bullied in what way?
Literally death threats. Like if you walk home this way, like you're going to get jumped. And just the area I was in, I went to a primarily Hispanic school and I'm only half Hispanic, and that wasn't acceptable because I was the white girl. And the kids were just so mean.
I adopted my two nieces who are half Hispanic, and they're like, you're just not accepted anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing. For sure.
Yeah. So it was like if a boy liked me, the girls didn't like me. And they were just, I was the smart one. I was the pretty one. And that just like wasn't okay.
Oh,
I went to school.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Except you'd rather be smart and pretty than
right.
dumb and not pretty.
Absolutely. But eighth grade was a tough year.
Eighth grade sucks for so many people.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Do you know how to do diaphragmatic breathing?
No.
It's basically, I have a cool app where all you have to do is like breathe in when the circle gets big and breathe.
Oh, you know what I do have on our Oculus? There's this one app that I downloaded and it does these like breath things while also giving you the visual. I haven't done that in a while, but when I do stuff like that, or even just my Calm app,
So it's the 15-second breath. That's
Okay.
what I discovered. 4 seconds in. So really take a big breath, hold it for a second and a half, and then 8 seconds out. So double the exhale that you do the inhale, and then hold it out for a second and a half. So basically, when you're anxious, you're breathing 15 to 20 times a minute. We take that down to 4 times a minute, and it's like a Xanax. Because I'm not a fan of Xanax.
Yeah.
Because it's addictive. It makes people stupid. It increases your risk of dementia later in life. You do not have a dementia brain, right? You have a healthy brain. But you don't want to do things that hurt it.
Right.
Right. And so if you do that 15-second breath, and diaphragmatic means breathe from your belly. So if you ever watch a baby breathe, or you watch Summer breathe, she's breathing with her belly.
Totally.
Right? She doesn't breathe with her chest because the most efficient, natural way to breathe is with your belly. So what are we going to do? We should get some labs on you just to see where you are. I think Neuralink twice a day. Have you ever been hypnotized?
No. Because I don't think my brain would let me get hypnotized,
totally.
You know? I feel like I've always had a fear around that because I'm like, but what if it worked? And then what would I do?
Just be happier.
Yeah. I did a show in Vegas for 6 months. I had a residency out there. And after my show, every night was a hypnotist. And I would go to the show all of the time and watch it. And it was fascinating, but it terrified me. So I was like, I don't want to like.
Well, but that's different.
Right.
That's a stage.
That was more of an entertainment.
Yeah.
Totally.
But someone you trusted who did it with you, it just helped calm things down. Yeah, I think it could be actually very.
Basically like a deep meditation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, on our app, Happy Brain, I have you download it. It's got hypnosis audios, meditation audio. It's got the breathing exercises, it's got killing the ants. I think it'll be super helpful for you.
Awesome.
And then let's see where we go. And if I calm your brain down and I activate his, because his is chronically stressful for you, right? And yours is chronically stressful for him.
Right.
So if we balance it, then you guys can love and support each other, and Summer doesn't have to grow up in a house of stress.
Yeah. That's the goal.
That's the goal.